Hello and welcome to the Carnegie Report. We are in May 2021. I'm Gary Peer.
And I'm Leo Samuel.
You are Mr. Carnegie indeed himself. Welcome. And what's going on out there in the market? It's so red hot at the moment, isn't it? Some things are just going for prices never expected or anticipated. It's a very exciting time in the property
Can you,
game.
Gary, recall in your long real estate career, I've been doing this for 22 years now, that I've never seen a rebound like we've seen since literally Christmas in terms of capital appreciation. But how hard is it week on week to price properties after the new records constantly being set?
It's very tricky, very difficult. No one expected, I don't think anyone saw it coming. You know, if you think back a year ago when we got into this sort of terrible, depressing COVID and lockdown, and everything was gloomy and dark and businesses were shutting down. And of course we all pinned our hopes on JobKeeper and Job Seeker and all of the different props. But I think everyone thought that when JobKeeper's gone, this is going to be a big collapse in the economy, and there was a recession last year, if you remember the talk about.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? They seemed like a million years ago, those times, because people came out punching. The Australian economy seemed to have survived, but the property market, and I know there were some businesses suffered, and I feel for those businesses and those different industries. Certainly travel's one of them.
One observation I found, because if you look before COVID, like late February last year, 2020, before COVID came, to the news and started happening, the market was going crazy back then, the rebound.
There was a lot of energy.
And I think obviously the market went down, there was the fear by confidence, but just knowing with what's happening at the moment, people saw precedent back then, so it's returned to that, plus more with confidence, with obviously fueled by lower interest rates. And
that's right.
The need to obviously not travel, as I say in our auctions, people aren't going to Bali, not going to America, not going to Europe, and they definitely want to put it in bricks and mortar.
And the amount of people I've met who have bought holiday houses in Cairns, someone I met yesterday bought a holiday house in Cairns, somebody else said they bought a place down the coast last week, I spoke to somebody. So a lot of people are buying alternative homes, setting themselves up for
doing a Dick Smith, buying Australian made.
Yeah, very Australian life. And let's face it, for someone that travels a lot around the world as I do, haven't recently, but I've got to tell you, there's no place like home. We are in the most incredible country in the world, and I really think that even though prices are up and have alarmed and surprised us all, don't be surprised when immigration starts changing, how many people are going to have their eye on this country so far away called Australia, where they can come and set themselves up and have a wonderful life. And you look at the troubles other countries have had, COVID and not related to COVID, this is the lucky country. The lucky country indeed. So people who are watching this, they don't really care about real estate agents, talking philosophy and theory. We want to get into, and people want to know what's going on in the real estate world, particularly in and around Carnegie, what's happening out there. And Carnegie, Kooringa Road's buzzing, humming. Somebody told me about a Greek restaurant they went to. You might know the name of it, not far from our office, in Kooringa Road.
Why Sol?
What is it?
Why Sol?
Yeah, I think maybe that's it.
The crossing there.
They said there's a great Greek restaurant. It's Kooringa Road's got a lot of cheap eateries. This is not a cheap eatery, but a really good one apparently. So I've got to go and check it out. But gee, how busy is Kooringa Road on a Saturday night?
It's good to be back. Everyone out, pumping.
People are out. People are out in the city. I was running around the comedy festival, seeing a lot of people and activity. It was just great. And of course, footy season in full swing with full quarters, and the Mighty Blues having a win last week. Oh, sorry about that. I forgot. Very sensitive. But anyway, if we only win one game a year and it's against Essendon, there seems to be some sort of perverse satisfaction given the rivalry. But anyway, I don't think either of us are going to be in the grand final this year.
I agree.
Whether it's Carlton or Essendon. But how about the Melbourne Football Club? There's a bit of a surprise. I know Philip's up and about, very excited about that. So good luck to all the Melbourne supporters. Goodness knows you've been waiting for long enough. Let's get into property, talk about what's been sold so people can understand what's happening out there in the market with property prices. Rosstown Road, Leo, tell us about that property.
Yeah, that was good. Sale. Rishi Thacker from our office, a new recruit in 2021, doing great things with the office. He sold this one.
Let's put a photo.
Show Rishi. Right, put him up on screen. Doing great things. Sold it for a good client that he's known for many years. Sold for $520,000 before auction. Great apartment it was.
Good on you, Rishi. He's doing some great things, and if you're out and about, say good day to Rishi, because he's a fine young man doing some wonderful things. He knows a bit about real estate. He's been around for a while, but he's certainly a great asset to the team at Gary Peer & Associates. Let's talk about the property G08 at 332 Neerim Road. That sold before auction.
Yes, it did. And Jack Slater, the specialist in that near new market, in that sort of Neerim Road between Kooringa Road and Murrumbeena, another one of his sales. A great outcome, sold before auction. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a courtyard. Got to love a good courtyard apartment. Those ones always do really well. And sell before auction for a great price as well.
You do indeed. And David Thompson was very excited to do the auction. He does a great auction, David Thompson, but he was stolen of that opportunity when the property sales
How it is
went up.
sometimes, Gary.
That's how it is. Us auctioneers, sometimes we're all excited, ready to go, and then the party's cancelled when it gets sold. 10 Bute Street, Murrumbeena. Well, good story behind this sale.
It's a Bute one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, funny guy. And that sold under.
You thought the comedy festival finished, yeah.
I know, as I say, it's in May in the Carnegie Report as opposed to
Exactly.
March in the city.
Exactly
So
right.
Bute Street, that had 3 bidders going for that one. That was a really nice one of a pair. It was only 2 bedrooms, but it had a bit of land content to it because it was quite long and narrow. And sold for $1,270,000.
Had a few bidders for that.
One of a pair, Gary. That's what they're going for these days.
Extraordinary, isn't it? It seemed like yesterday were 800 or 850. One at 12 Kooringa Road, Carnegie. Well, that sold prior to auction. The price is disclosed, $1,200,000.
It's in a lovely street between Oakley Road and Lila Road. A lovely pocket near the left field cafe there. Sold for $1.2 million before auction as well by Jack Slater.
Weeroona Road in Murrumbeena. Another thumping auction. Graham Callan was the auctioneer. Dan Dyson handled it. Tell us a little about that.
You've got to love the Boyd Park precinct there near Murrumbeena Primary School. Popular single villa units where we constantly talk about it. What a great place to park some money. And this one here went gangbusters, sold for $935,000. A great outcome as well and highly competitive auction.
Well in excess of the reserve, which was in the 7s. So well done again to the vendor there, and congratulations to the buyer. Found something great, and even if you do have to get into competition and pay what seems to be a premium, I always say today's premium is tomorrow's bargain. There you go. 113 at 3 to 9 Elliott Avenue, Carnegie, Leor.
Yeah, that was in a near new block as well. We've sold a lot in this subdivision over the last few years, and another great outcome by Jack Slater, sold for $621,000.
I think there's been another good result in Carnegie, if I'm not wrong. Is that right? There has been a good result, yeah. One at 19 to 21 Beena Avenue in Carnegie. Had hoped for around about 810 thereabouts.
That's right. Hope price was 810.
yeah.
Would have sold for less. Great story here, Gary. We appraised it, we managed it. Our agency go up here with our property management department. We manage a lot of properties, but this landlord decided it was time to sell because they've moved to Western Australia. Trusted us to sell. The tenant, unfortunately, had to break the news to him that the landlords wanted to sell. He expressed interest to buy it. And I said, look, at this point in time, the vendors just want to do basic improvements based on our recommendations to a degree. Yeah. So unfortunately, he had to move on, and we cleaned the place up for sale by freshening it up. I wouldn't say it's a full renovation, but good marketing, good advertising, great promotion.
Great competition.
He resurfaced, wanted to potentially buy it before, but unfortunately I had 5 bidders to compete with, Gary, and as we talked about that hope price of 810, we ended up selling it for $956,000. So sometimes when the tenants want to buy direct, they can potentially resurface under competition.
And for those owners that sell directly to the tenants, yes, you can always work out what you save the advertising, save the styling, you get to keep the rent. You know, there's benefits, those mathematical benefits are very clear, and sometimes if you do it directly, you can save the agent's fees as well.
I always like to say, Gary, the advertising campaign is like your insurance policy over a campaign.
Indeed it is. Anyway, the buyer, of course, got to get back into their home in an improved manner, so good luck to them and well done to the vendor. That's a really great and happy story. We've got some great offerings coming up. We could go through all of them, but we won't. We'll just pluck a few. We've got one in Grange Road, Carnegie. Jack Slater is selling and you're auctioning this terrific property.
Yeah, that's a lovely 3-bedroom villa unit right near Glen Huntly Village there. Should go well. Expecting interest in that sort of high 8, early 9s. I think it's going to go right.
Every buyer who's interested in any property always wants to know about the reserve, don't they?
That's right.
But now we've got a property in Reserve Avenue in Carnegie. Jack Slater, again, handling this and you're auctioning it.
We talk about how homes in Carnegie have just gone nuts in terms of the capital appreciation the last few years. Obviously, there's a very limited supply coming up and a lot of buyers are gravitating towards this new home. Jack's been inundated with buyers coming through. I'm expecting a good outcome here, but you know what? Good real estate always sells well. And keep an eye on that result in time.
Aviv Samuel is going to be offering this property to the market in Ardine Street. We are in campaign mode already there. Tell us a bit about that.
27 Ardine's a beautiful home, Gary. It's got the most beautiful facade, lovely period charm throughout. It's not on the biggest of blocks, so from an affordable entry, buyers trading up from apartments and townhouses, and they can't get into that bigger freestanding home on 600 odd square metres, are also gravitating towards this one.
Yep.
This one's a beautiful home. I think whoever buys this one's really going to enjoy the benefits that Murrumbeena has to offer.
Girdwood Avenue in Carnegie. It looks like a great little property. I shouldn't say little, because it's not little, but it's a great property.
Yeah, it's a great villa unit. Girdwood Street, not too far from Grange Road, sort of that Caulfield East precinct there of the Carnegie area. Yeah, lovely spot to park some money. I reckon great investment too for someone to looking to park some money and get out of those term deposits under 1%. I reckon it's a safe bet. You're
certainly right about that. St Huberts Road, another terrific address, which of course is right in the middle of all the action with shopping centres and trams and the train station not far away. Tell us about this terrific property.
I love St Huberts Road because that pocket on the cusp of Glen Huntly, a bit wider streets, but you know, you've got the bus on Nearham Road, you've got the tram, and you've got Glen Huntly and Carnegie train station. Great place to park money in terms of investment, but first home buyers, have a look at that one. Split level, plenty of outdoor accommodation, but yeah, something modern as well. Good
place to park money, but if you want to park a lot of money, you've got to go down to Parker Street in Ormond, because this is a once in a lifetime offering and one of the most exciting parcels of real estate that we've ever sold.
It is an unbelievable offering here. Approximately 2,063 square metres of prime Ormond land. Family have held this for quite some time, over 55 years, I believe. And I can tell you what, whoever gets their hands on this opportunity is going to love it. You've got the original brick pair home at the front, at the back of the land. In the late 60s, they built 12 apartments, 1960 style solid brick apartments with rear access. I tell you what, an investor, a developer is going to love this offering.
That really is a once in a lifetime, and it's hard to see how you certainly over time go wrong or pay too much for a parcel of land like that. That is a incredible opportunity. That's a big wrap on all of the properties that we're going to discuss today, that have sold, that have been that are coming up. But there are other properties that we haven't had a chance to speak about. If you want to find out about them, call this man, Lee or Samuel. And of course, if you're wanting to sell, we would be delighted to assist you. We're selling, of course, in Carnegie, Murrumbeena, Glen Huntly, and everywhere else in and around inner and particularly southeastern Melbourne. There is lots going on in the real estate world. It's an exciting time. The busiest month in the history of our organisation.
Has been.
We've been going for a while. We're starting to get the hang of this real estate thing, but I don't think we've ever had more for sale in the month. So our resources are all hard at work. We're on that treadmill, putting the speed right up high and
with
just running.
With the incline as well.
With the incline as well. But don't worry, we're up for it, and we're looking forward to giving the best possible service to our buyers and best possible experience to our sellers, and keeping the wheels in motion as we ride on through May 2021. We will keep you up to date with the Carnegie Report. We'll look forward to seeing you next month as we wrap up May, and we'll look forward to being back here on the screen in June. I'm Gary Peer.
And I'm Leo Samuel. Have a fantastic week.